Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain. Alright, so we just finished our first part of the Bargain of Blood chain, or the Sentinels of Stormreach chain, rather. And so we just come back, turned in our quest to Taggart. The next thing is to go and pick up our next quest, which is the Black Loch. This one is, you pick this one up in House D as you do with the others, unlike the first part there, which is at Bargain of Blood out in off the marketplace through Searing Heights. Ooh, wrong one. No, it is this one. Alright, so this quest itself has actually gone through a lot of changes since its first initial release.
Echoes of dripping water reverberate through the caves of the Black Loch.
Mainly one major part. They went back and changed. This is one of the older
Be
chains
ready
that
with
they've
us
had,
for the upcoming battle against the necromancers
and
and undead pirate
oh,
minions.
just logged in here. Forgot to make all our ammo here. So yeah, this is one of the older chains. As such, when it first came out, obviously, just like anything, they were figuring things out and still, trying to get things to work the way they wanted to. This involved one section of the quest, which I will point out. It was very, very laggy. It still is to a point, as the only way that they can go through and fix it would be to completely like rebuild the quest, which they do have more pressing things to do at this time. Though that's not off the table for the future revisits, though it is unlikely. Alright. So the first thing you need to do when you come in here is you do need to talk to Tyne. If you do not, it won't let you actually progress past a specific point just up here. So you'll be able to approach up to the door, but you won't actually be able to pass through it without talking to that person there. So if you're at the door and it's not letting you through, not letting you interact with it, it just means you got to go back and talk to them. Alright. So for the most part, this is a fairly standard quest. Like, as you can see, there's a small trap. They do have some hidden enemies, but it's pretty much a point A to point B. Mind you, most quests are point A to point B. Alright. So in this room here, as you see, we do have two doors that we can go. We need to actually head through the door on the right first, as the door to the left actually is locked with a key. That one there. It is locked, and you do need a key which you obtain through that path. Just down here below us, we have a set of shrines, as well in the water, if I remember correctly. There was a chest, but I don't think I remember correctly. Okay, no chest in the water. So as you can see, there's two ladders, one to this part. There's one all the way up to the top. You can also take the mushrooms if you have a high enough jump and just jump up. Might be faster than actually climbing the ladder. Ouch. That could have been bad. But that's what the hireling's for. At least until we get a few more levels, and we have that reconstruction spell. So another thing to point out here, throughout this quest, there will be some of these sarcophagus coffins. If you break them, it will actually spawn in a zombie inside the coffins. Now, this is not required to complete the quest, but they do count as breakables there. So throughout here, as you see, it does say to kill its 4 apprentices. Each apprentice will be in a room similar to this. You can see them right there. And you can actually cast like these types of spells, Scorching Turret, or like your fireballs and stuff, where you can actually start attacking them even though you can't target them, and even though they're not going to move yet. And of course you can kill them. Once you open the door, in some cases, it will spawn in additional enemies. So just be aware of that. The most important one though is obviously we gotta kill the apprentice. When the apprentice dies, it will spawn in a chest with a specific key.
This vile green key may prove useful later on.
And each of these keys are used to unlock the next door that you need to go through.
A small keyhole painted green is visible in the door. Perhaps you can find a key that
So this next part is full of traps. As you can see, fairly easy to avoid. And they do have a trap box here on the left. There. So you do, as you can see, heading north and west, there are 2 paths. North is optional. I always go north. Just more kills. At least I think north is optional. No, north is not optional. Yeah, so here's our guy. And then once everything is dead, it's gonna spawn in that chest. So there is an optional path. That one's actually a little bit further up. Now this one here is just a dead end. Like it comes up and around the corner, and that's that. Alright, so now that we've gone north and picked up the key, we can head west. So there would have been an easy one if you had gone west first, or thought like I did for whatever reason and thought it was an optional path. Once we reached that door there, so we could have cleared up to it. Once we reached the door, it would have just said the door is locked, and it wouldn't let us through. In which case, if it's not letting you through, then obviously you need to go the other direction there.
The pirates behind this door continue their duel, oblivious to your presence. You notice a small red keyhole in the door.
So this path here, this is the one that's optional. So this is actually where it had changed. Um, as you can probably tell, like some of this land, it just doesn't look like it meshes correctly. Yeah, so what it was is that there used to just be a small path going down here. They added in a lot of this extra, like as you can see, this was the path that you would take. They added in all this extra landmass. And down towards the ship there, looking towards the ship almost used to like massively lag spike. It would like drop your frames down to like nothing. And I guess they just had too much going on like with the water and the ship, and it was just too much to handle for so many people. So like I said, they've gone back and they've touched it up a little bit, and they have improved it greatly. Though it has not completely fixed the issue for everybody. Alright, so for this section here, we have, as you can see, a whole bunch of people. They're all in these cells. Now we do have an optional to kill them right here. The trick for this one, I find, is actually hopping up on this little pedestal here. If you do, you actually are in a spot where you are immune. Just getting their attention there. So they can't actually hit you up here. So it is nice, especially if you're ranged, and with the mass groups, you know, any type of AoE abilities like these fireballs. Though it doesn't hit for much, you know, 20 damage per enemy. That's works out to be a lot of damage at once. I love the curving fireballs. Such a pain in the rear. Alright, there we go. And once they are all dead, it does unlock the chest here for you. So don't think about running just straight up, grabbing the loot and leaving. But as you can see, hopping up on this light, it does require a decent amount of jump, as it is fairly high. But if you have enough, it's definitely worth hopping up there. So if you can cast jump or something on yourself before you enter, it'll definitely lend a hand, especially for characters such as wizards and such who are a little bit squishier. Alright. So another thing they changed with adding in this, I guess, extra land here, they made it quite a bit easier to actually maneuver your way around here. Like, as you can see, drops down here. So this is how you used to get up. It was through there and then up the ladder, and it was just, they added in a lot of extra stuff there to make it easier to traverse the land there. Alright. So if we keep going in a little bit deeper, we should come up. So there's our shrines. We got a set of shrines right here. And then we come to a four-way. So ultimately we need to head east. However, we do need to pick up a key first. The key is obtained by heading south. We also have a door off to the to the west. This one you can only open after the quest is completed. However, there are some enemies down there. They actually have kind of 2 waves of enemies. So one wave is going to spawn here, and that's actually the second wave. And then you got these guys here. So once these 2 here die, it will spawn enemies back towards where that turret is. So it kind of, traps you back there. So just be aware that they kind of have that ambush. It only spawns in once those 2 die. Alright, so let's head south and grab our next apprentice here. So actually our last 2 apprentices are down this way. They're kind of one after the other. So the first one is here directly to our right. So there's our first one there. And of course, again, you want to pick up the chest, grab your key.
The blue on this key is only cheap paint over a flimsy wooden key.
And then you just want to head east. And here's the key for the door right there. Next, we're about to pick up my favorite key out of here. So, as you can see, right when you go through the door, both to the left and to the right of the door, right on the other side, there are 2 hidden guards. And here's our last room. So this one actually has my favorite key, and you'll find out why once, as you notice the description that they were giving for each one. So like the blue, it was a flimsy wooden key covered with blue paint. Yeah, this one is my favorite key. So it's a jeweled key.
Sadly, the jewels encrusted into this key are all cheap fakes made of paste.
They're not even real jewels. It's like you have a giant hoard of treasure and you can't even like fetch for real keys. Like they're cheap ones made of wood. The jewels are fake. Like it's kind of hilarious. Alright, so here's another bit that's actually changed up a little bit here. So the door used to be in a different location for this one here, and you never actually had like this tournament here. Like again, they added in a lot of extra land here, and changed up the hall. And again, I think that was their way of just covering up some of these things that were causing so much lag. They also got rid of right there. So that whole section used to be a solid wall as well. There was a rooftop to that cave as well. Like, so this whole thing was inside of a giant cave, and it was just, I think that's what it was, is just too many things. That's also why this ladder here doesn't look like it meshes, and you can't, like, it's kind of through. It's because they kind of went back and re-added some of this stuff. So the ladder used to be set up to this rock here, and now it's not. The old way to proceed, you kind of had to just stare right down at your feet and just, tab target enemies. But of course now they fixed that a lot, so you get a lot less lag going through here.
As you wonder whether this is still
Alright, so this is actually the final area part of it. So there's our boss. Before the boss, he does spawn in a couple of waves of enemies. He just spawns them out of the doors there. So if you have any AoE type abilities, you can just lay them down. And then finally, once you've done enough, then he decides to come at you in person. Again, not overly too bad as he just 1200 hit points. Once he dies, again, this is where they changed it up a little bit. So there used to be different items that you could get out of here. Actually, I think I still have some of the old ones. Yeah, so you would get out of the 3 quests here. So you got Bargain of Blood, you've got Black Loch, and then you've got our third one here, which we haven't got to just yet. You would get these items here: Sigil of the Dragon, Goat, or Lion. And then you could use those to upgrade the loot, some of the loot that you get out of here. But they've since gone in again. They've gone back and they've reworked a lot of this stuff so that you actually no longer get the sigils in order to upgrade. They just come already upgraded for their first upgrade anyway. You can go through and actually still make these items epic versions of their heroic version. So with that gold key that we looted from that chest, we are able to enter their treasure vault, which as you see is also an extra amount of experience. And it gives you 3 chests, plus you can go through and loot several of these piles of gold. In fact, you can loot all the piles of gold, but doesn't overly give you too much. Though, again, you can get decent loot. I've actually gotten tomes out of this before. Actually, I shouldn't say tomes plural. I've gotten 1 tome, and it was like a +1 tome, but it was there. So I mean, the chance is there, though it is a very small chance. Anyway, that'll be it for the Black Loch. All that's left is to recall, turn in, and then pick up the next quest. Alright, everybody, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, all.